Hello and welcome. This is Jeff Ratcliffe with Educational Investor Services. Many of you tuning in probably know who I am. I've either instructed at your location, conducted a class registration, possibly met you at a conference. For those who have not met me before, I am pleased to have you here. Thank you for your time. We just want to take about 10 minutes to discuss a little bit about what it is we provide and add some clarification to that as well. For those who are not familiar with us, we began providing our 401k education course in the mid to late 90s, which means that we have now educated thousands of union members over the last 2 decades, I think going on 25 years now. We have worked with a variety of corporations and unions. Currently, most of what we do is through the United Auto Workers and the United Steel Workers. I don't think it's much of a surprise that many of the unions we work with and the companies that we work with no longer offer pension plans. Those who do have pension plans are slowly starting to phase them out. I always like to give the example of Goodyear. In 2012, Goodyear froze their pension. And what that means is new hires, also known as those hired after 2006, receive a percent of their wages deposited into their 401k. Whereas veteran workers, or those hired before 2006, they're going to receive their pension for their years of service up to 2012. Then they're going to have a set dollar amount deposited into their 401k based on their current age. And that's a little example that I like to share. Unfortunately, that looks to be the wave of the future, and many steelworker affiliated companies have already implemented similar changes to their retirement plans. Our course has been highly recommended wherever we go, regardless of who we're working with. We were rated the highest class, or the highest rated class in Saturn. GM Powertrain rated this class as the highest valued class offered to their members. We consistently rate among the top rated courses at many of our ICD locations. So everywhere we go, we tend to be well received. And I don't think you can do this for close to 25 years without that being the case. So now that we've discussed a little bit about where we are from and our history, let's get into the future of retirement here. Education for union members on how to understand and manage their 401k is limited. What we find is occasionally you'll have a 401k provider who will offer a class. And this class generally talks about contribution limits, target date funds, but little more. They're going to tell you, here's your mutual funds, here's how they operate, and here's how you buy them. So for example, if your provider is Fidelity, Fidelity is going to come in there and do that. It's usually about 2 hours, but it offers a little more than what most members already know. And then you have third parties that come and offer free courses. Don't be fooled. This is an attempt to manage members' accounts for a fee, and also to sell them other high-cost investment products. This is a particular concern for veteran workers. We see this where someone takes a pension buyout, and next thing you know, there's many people contacting that person, trying to get that money to manage it or to sell them certain investment products, and that's just not something that we want to be affiliated with. But that's also not something that you want to have your union members exposed to. So unfortunately, union members have limited tools on how to manage a retirement account independently. This is what we found. We do not know any other education provider in the country that provides a 401k education course. And this is the goal of our investment class. We really want to teach students the tools necessary, not just to understand their retirement, but to manage that account independently. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about what we do not do, because that's equally as important. We do not sell stocks, bonds, securities, or other investments. And we certainly do not partner with other brokerage companies. And lastly, we do not manage individual investment accounts. We don't want to sell anything. We don't want to touch money, and we don't want to get in partnerships with people who do. We are strictly a 401k education class, tuition-based education class. We want to clarify here in bold, for those locations that have not ran our course, sometimes we hear that a stock market investment in course is not something that our members need. Well, that is not what our program is. So let me clarify that. We do not provide education on stock market investments. That is not what we do. So let's talk a little bit about what we do. We provide unbiased training for your 401k, IRA, and other corporate retirement accounts. In other words, this can be a 401k, Roth, or traditional. It can be an individual retirement account. It can be a 403b, a thrift savings plan. It does not matter. We are well versed in all of them and have provided education in all of them. Our ultimate goal with every course we teach is that individuals will gain the ability to manage their 401k and other retirement accounts with confidence, with knowledge, and independently. In fact, we have many students, I wouldn't say many, but we have some that attend the class and their goal is to have somebody do this for them. And the class is equally as valuable because they either leave that class realizing that they don't need somebody to do it for them, or they leave that class now having that confidence and that knowledge to ask the right questions and make sure they're making good decisions and avoiding financial sharks. We want to reiterate that our 401k education course is specifically customized around each corporate 401k plan. In other words, this is not a generic course. We're taking this and we're molding it around the specific provider of your 401k and the specific plan that that provider is offering. So each course is customized per site or location that we are teaching at. And this is where I want to reiterate one more time. Our program is a 401k education course first. There is minor instruction related to investing, but it strictly pertains to that company 401k plan. So for example, we might teach a seasonality approach with their core choices or the core choices in that plan. Or if there's a brokerage link option, then we might teach different investment options inside of that brokerage link. So let me kind of discuss a little bit more here about those expected outcomes. If in taking this course, we want to make sure that every union member understands their 401k provider and investment choices. We want to make sure they understand the difference between the traditional and Roth options, as well as how to utilize an individual retirement account. We want to make sure that students can learn how to reduce fees on all investments or reduce taxes in retirement. We want to teach how to evaluate and minimize risk. We want to teach how to manage that 401k or other investment in good and bad economies. And we're going to do this not just by teaching the intelligence part to their 401k plan and investing. We're also going to teach the emotional discipline piece. How do I avoid that herd mentality with popular investments? Or why might I not want to take a loan against my 401k? We're going to teach about rotating sectors, developing retirement portfolios to meet retirement goals or investment objectives. So this really is a 401k education class in its entirety. We want to hit every element that somebody is going to need in order to manage that 401k, or as we like to say, be the CEO of their retirement with confidence. So let's talk a little bit about the logistics of the course. This is a 15-hour class with in-class lectures and workshop activities. Typically, it's distributed amongst 3-hour blocks, but this is flexible per site. We have some sites that run 2 8-hour weekends, some that run 2 days a week for 3 weeks, some that run 1 day a week for 5, some that run Monday through Friday, some that run 6-hour blocks. I could go on, but essentially I want to reiterate that the class time is approximately 15 hours, but we are very flexible in how we distribute that time. The class may be taught live in person or live on Zoom. We can do any time or day combination to meet employee shift needs. The cost of the course is $5.99 per student. In regards to minimums, that's going to be flexible. If we're teaching in person, that minimum might have to be a little bit higher because we have higher expenses. Or maybe we're partnering with 2 ICD locations, well, then that minimum is going to be different again. Or maybe the class is on Zoom, then the minimum is going to be significantly lower. So that is something that is flexible. Class material is included regardless of the class format. And we do have a refund policy. The way we like to approach this is if we're teaching the course in person and a student sits down and after the first day of class decides this class is not for me and they return their textbook, we will not charge their tuition assistance. I would like to note that from my knowledge, that has never happened. So it's not much of a concern for us. However, we do have that in there. If the course is live on Zoom, we do that a little differently. For students who attend the first session, they will be considered billable. So in other words, if you have students that sign up and don't show up, we're not charging for those students. We want to remain fair and flexible for all budgets. And we generally have never had a problem with that. Spouses are encouraged to attend free of charge. That's always a plus. And students can retake the course as many times as they wish for up to 3 years. We frequently teach our course at locations 1 time a year. And we frequently have students that take that class each and every time we show up. They will not be billed from 3 years after the billable date. So how do I word that? Well, if you haven't ran our class since June of 2018, well, that would mean if you run in 2021 or 2022, all students are going to be considered a billable student. I apologize. There we go. So for more contact information, we have Steve Williams, president and founder. This is his work direct line at 850-502-0909. We like to joke that you can really tell the integrity of a company when they put the, as EIS employees like to refer to them, the boss's direct line right there on a PowerPoint slide. His direct email is eis@provide.net. If you'd rather contact the company directly, that's admin@eistrading.com. We are more than willing to send you more information. We are more than willing to come to your location and host another presentation or answer any of your questions. If you're interested in scheduling a course, please reach out as well. I want to thank you all for your time, and I hope that you have a great day.